At StoryStream, we are really sort of doubling down on this opportunity and challenge around product discovery and how that is being fundamentally disrupted by the likes of what's been going on social for a number of years now, and new things like AI and conversational commerce. But then there's the reality of what these things mean from actual day-to-day use and value. I think there's a huge amount of buzz around things like agentic commerce and these sorts of things, but there is still a lot for the consumer to get comfortable with doing to kind of make these kind of big leaps in how they're going to buy and discover products. So as much as the future is coming and increasingly here, there is still steps to take to help get to that. And that kind of leads nicely into the work that we've been doing with Primark for a little while now. And Primark are a fascinating brand in all sorts of ways. Household names certainly across the UK and Europe, and increasingly more parts of the world. And the journey that you guys have been on has been fascinating, and it's been really interesting from a StoryStream perspective to start to understand and see how we can help support on parts of that digital transformation you're going through and things. So what I wanted to do today was invite Zach, who's kindly agreed to join our webinar, to I guess have a bit of a conversation around what does product discovery mean for Primark and what's changing in the world, and then talk through some of the things that you've been doing to address some of those opportunities that Charlotte talked through there, particularly around engaging Primark's community and bringing to life product discovery through the eyes and imagery of their customers and things, and then talking a little bit around the future and what's possible. So uh, Zach, thanks again for joining today. Why don't we start off? The digital journey. It wasn't that long ago since Primark didn't have any sort of e-commerce, in inverted commas, but that's been growing as a key channel for you. Um, perhaps you just talk top line a little bit through your journey, and then tying into like what does product discovery mean, and how is that evolving in the business for you?
Yeah, sure. So it's absolutely worth addressing that, of course, we are very late to this part of retail. It wasn't so long ago that if you were to ask anyone at Primark whether we were going to start playing in the world of e-commerce and transacting online, they would have been adamant that no, we're a bricks and mortar business, and we just don't want to be playing in that space, partly because we want you to come to our stores, but partly also because of our price point and a few other commercial challenges. So it was, of course, the pandemic that caused a few people to change their mind, shall we say. So the ability to be able to transact, be a little bit more robust during challenging times. The decision was taken to build an e-commerce platform, and specifically click and collect. No surprise that it's a click and collect model, of course, because we don't want to be sending you the products. We want you to come into stores, see everything else that we have. So it's probably worth addressing that part of our discovery approach is actually around getting someone to store. So yes, come and see our website. We have about 70% of our entire product catalog on the website at the moment. So still 30% of the things that we have available to our customers not visible on the website. And the idea, of course, is buy those things on click and collect, come into store, and while you're there, have a little mosey around and see what else we have to offer. So it was about 4 years ago. I joined Primark from Argos, having been in various different digital operations and digital content roles with them, and was hired to try and help them set up their digital operation function so that they can run a click and collect model. So I guess that's addressing the elephant in the room, that there will be people and websites on this call that unfortunately I can't see that will be much further along this journey than us. But I think given who we are and our stage in our journey, we may have some fairly interesting approaches and views on the world.
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
as far as
So,
discovery, sorry,
yeah,
go on.
sorry, Zach. Yeah, that was my sort of leading question now in terms of like, product discovery. Where's that come from? How do you see that kind of evolving more conceptually, I guess, as a high level?
Yeah, so I think lots of brands listening to this will be in a similar place in terms of the challenges of product discovery. So everybody here will be running some sort of PLP page where, as Charlotte has just mentioned, you have a fairly white, clinical, cold e-commerce experience with somewhat outdated e-com photography, white world model photography. Um, Within that experience, it's worth addressing just some of the challenges that we'll be facing. So I'm sure everyone will be sitting here and sympathize with. We have about 20% of our products driving 80% of the engagement and visits on our website. So just personally, from someone that runs operational teams and has a big stake in the energy and cost that goes into launching products on the website, it's hugely frustrating that we spend so much time to get, as we sit here today, 16,000 products on our website, but 80% of them don't really get much engagement. Now, that is obviously because you have this fairly clinical PLP experience where you scroll down the page, about a quarter of people will get to the bottom and click the load more button, and by the time they reach the 50th product, the engagement and scroll depth really falls off. So part of the work that we've been doing with Alex and StoryStream is how do we address the fact that we spend a huge amount of time and energy and money launching products on our website that fundamentally just don't get the sort of traffic that we need because of somewhat outdated algorithms. So like most people here, our PLPs will be ordered by newness, engagement, and commercial value. But the latter of those three, certainly the last two, are sort of self-fulfilling and cyclical challenges for us. So when something gets the most engagement, it will be at the top, and therefore it will continue to get the most engagement. So one of the things that we've been looking to change is trying to surface different products to customers that isn't shown through our algorithm that we run with our search and merch tool. A key goal of that, or a key enabler of that, I should say, is the Primania program. So our user-generated content gallery. So I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about it in the
Yeah, I mean that's a good
in the
segue.
questions that come.
Why don't we move on to that? I think I think the point you referenced there is that, I mean, broadly, if you looked at an e-commerce site 20 years ago, fundamentally the experience is not radically different. You know, it's definitely been optimized. It's definitely a lot more efficient and quicker and better on mobile, etc., etc. But the way you engage and discover and feel like you're shopping versus just buying is relatively similar. And you know that is a huge point of opportunity. I think that brands and retailers have to think about, you know, going back to the drawing board and really thinking through again. I think the work you guys have been doing on Primania is fascinating. Perhaps give a bit of context about what Primania is, and why kind of what the role of community is part of driving product discovery on site.
Yeah, sure. So as I mentioned, Primania is our user-generated content program. I'm sure everyone here is running something similar. The community aspect is interesting, but really it's the style of content that I think speaks to the customer. So to sort of hone in on some of the stuff that Charlotte was saying, there is something fundamentally more engaging with content that influencers and customers will create themselves. It's the reason that we sort of sit there and scroll through social media for quite so long, and we can't get people to get through 2 clicks on a old-fashioned PLP. There is something that speaks to them about the authenticity of that content, and therefore first and foremost, they are scrolling more. So when someone engages with the Primania gallery, we get them through more products and more clicks than they do if they're just looking through a PLP. But then when they are engaging with that content, we see that the value to us in terms of product discovery is much greater. So circa 80% uplift in PDP views when someone is shopping thank you, Charlotte, a page just like this. So you can see why scroll depth gets so much better. We've got links to products, and certainly from my perspective, in terms of trying to get people to see more of the products that we have spent a lot of time to launch on our website and a lot of energy, just getting this content into that experience and that journey is about an 80% uplift in PDP visits. So really helpful for us. And then, of course, there are conversion benefits as well once we get someone to that product, because they've emotionally attached to it in a way that I think that white world model photography doesn't allow them to do.
And what's been kind of, I guess the goals in this are to expand this to kind of integrate this type of content in more parts of the site experience as well. Because I guess one of the things is also doing, particularly if you've got traffic that's discovering the brand or specific products from places like social channels, having this type of content where you land is also a much softer landing, coming from, a very warm fuzzy world of social to, a transactional experience you typically get on e-commerce. This type of content acts to bridge some of that experience. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah. So I think we've spoken in the past about how engaging and natural your experience on social media is, and then you hit a very white, very clinical PDP with a lack of that sort of engaging content. Um, for us, I guess this content sort of forms two key KPI impacting metrics. So um, we have a view that if you place this sort of content and Primania program up at the top of the funnel of your website, it's visit generating for your products. So as I sort of explained, we're able to get people to see more of the products that we have launched. The one thing that we are certainly playing catch up on at the moment is being able to get that content onto a PDP experience, because that's where we believe it's conversion additive. So um, being able to get someone to be at the point of making a decision on purchasing and being able to see natural, authentic content that is, one of the points I like to make is models tend to normally all be the same sort of size, not genuinely representative of the population. And what you tend to see when you get some UGC content is you get all sorts of people, all shapes and sizes. And we definitely see an impact there on being able to get someone to emotionally attach and convert on those products.
And what's your kind of thinking around, I think one of the challenges we often get posed with, with one of our core solutions being UGC, scaling. So, getting to kind of PDP levels and things. So, I know we're working on some plans around that. Is that something you're seeing gaining traction with kind of other parts of the business? Because it's obviously got a lot of different parts of the organization that need to kind of be supportive and inputting into that sort of generation of that content.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, there's a lot of hearts and minds to be won in a business the size of Primark's. A lot of red tape, unfortunately, which I'm sure everybody or a lot of people on this call sympathise with. Um, we absolutely have plans. So one of the things that we're looking to do is sort of unlock a bit of a seeding program so that we can get our products out to people. So when we get engagement, people are very passionate. People really love the brand, but one of the challenges we have on that program, this program, is that we just don't have enough content coming in the top of funnel. So we're at sort of 15% of our website at the moment is tagged with UGC content, and we would love to at least double that, so that when we do go live on the PDP, we really see that the impact of that work. Otherwise, it's to an extent hidden because it's just not on enough products.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's definitely a key challenge with UGC. I think the what we're definitely seeing as an opportunity is thinking about different channels of UGC generation. So there's obviously what's being organically created through platforms like Instagram and TikTok and things, and whatever the community is producing, but actually being more proactive about content generation. So a couple of examples would be, going as part of your post-purchase contact, inviting customers to submit um, imagery or video based on a bit more of a specific brief of the product they've just bought. Because obviously they've bought it, so that's a good way of trying of like being more focused about getting that product coverage. Another big growth is like an employee-generated content too. So obviously you've got lots of, I'm sure passionate store staff in retail stores. Also, behind the scenes from people working in like the product teams and things like that, actually, like designing and creating products in the studios or those sorts of things, building out a strategy to ask and generate content from them is very powerful way of scaling that as well. And then, so I mean, Primane has been something that, as a strategy, I guess you've been running for a few years now. Obviously, excited now that we're now live and have moved that on with StoryStream. We're also looking at some other kind of areas of opportunity, particularly around product discovery beyond the PDP. I think a big consistent theme that we're seeing at StoryStream is around the role of the PDP becoming more of, like I think Charlotte mentioned, like your landing page, your route into the wider site, that it's not a linear funnel coming for something that, even like a PLP or certainly homepage and things. So we've been looking at things like Shop the Look and some examples around that. Perhaps you could give some context to how you're seeing and thinking about getting, I guess, once you're in a product, how do you get discovery going out, kind of tangentially to find associated products to build UPT and things like that.
Yeah, so actually, we're really excited about Shop the Look. It's something I'm deeply passionate about, and really it sort of covers two goals. So yes, one is around discovery, but it's really ultimately about supporting the way that customers think and buy clothes. So you don't tend to buy an item of clothing in isolation. You don't buy it because of it being a single item, how it fits into your wardrobe, the styling that you're seeing on the model. You tend to buy into the look. That person with that outfit looks great, and that overshirt is something that I need in my life. And therefore, actually, I also need probably a couple of other things that this person is wearing. And um, about 18 months ago, we launched a co-ord experience. So that is where you've got your summer holiday resort wear, where you've got the matching shirt and matching shorts, or hoodie and sweatpants, fam jams, all of these sorts of intrinsically related items. We've seen that be a huge commercial success for us. So what that says to us is not only is that functionality good, but really that's how customers are looking to buy those products, and it's supporting a goal that we have, which is sort of selling as we buy. So we have bought these things to be worn together. They are part of the same look, they're the same material, same color, whatever it may be, and allowing customers to be able to find them in a way that doesn't create friction. You go, right, I really like that shirt. Let me buy those trousers. Oh, I've got to go back to the search page, search for blue jeans, hope that I found the right blue jeans, because inevitably it hasn't been shot on exactly the same product, the same model that the shirt that you liked was on. So just removing a bit of friction in supporting customers shopping the way that they want to has been hugely valuable for us commercially. And therefore, that has sort of paved the way for Shop the Look. So if someone is looking to buy things that have been styled on a model for coords, it sort of follows that they would like to buy several of these lovely Rita Ora items that you're all seeing right now. So that is what's paved the way. That is the sort of logical process that we've come down to be partnering with Alex and his team on trying to develop a Shop the Look experience.
Yeah, brilliant. And it's definitely an exciting development. And something I guess that is a well-known challenge and problems around, like, if you're looking at a single item and you've spent time and money styling that on a model to show like what it can look like with everything else, then make it as easy and frictionless as possible to build that outfit very quickly. The challenge has always been historically actually doing that at scale has been the prohibitive point. So
Mm.
I guess there's been two options. You could either use team members to do it, but to actually get like wide enough coverage has been a challenge. It's a big time suck. Also, what happens if that product goes out of stock? And the second way was, kind of legacy visual recognition tools would struggle with the nuances of a lot of products to actually make good matches and things. So it's been a really interesting process building this solution out, but we've got a novel way of being able to use AI to much more accurately and much more automatically scale kind of shop the look experiences. So something new that's coming very very soon, and excited to be kind of piloting and with Primark and others. So and I guess this leads a bit more into kind of like the final sort of topic of conversation, which is like, where is all of this type of thing going? Because I think that if you look at use of UGC as a way of bringing the community in to show social proof, but also help encourage discovery and brand consideration. Then Shop the Look to help you actually like find products and make all of that exciting content directly shoppable, be it your own imagery and content you've already got to help monetize or use UGC. The the kind of the next thing starts to feel, and I think Charlotte touched on a few of the kind of newer apps and things that are coming to market, where almost rethinking the whole e-commerce storefront experience. Like, how do you go from something that becomes truly hyper personalized, where you are getting content and products and experiences that are much more localized to you, but in a way that feels engaging and rewarding as well. So perhaps what are some of the maybe what you're seeing elsewhere in the market, other things you're seeing, like where do you think some of this starts to go to, and what are the possibilities, thinking a little bit further ahead?
Yeah, I think what we're seeing here is that I guess it's the evolution of the points that Charlotte made at the beginning. So product discovery and research really, I guess is what I want to say. Um, has slightly changed. So the way that you spend your time on social media, the way that you discover products and then find your way onto e-commerce platforms. Personally, I expect that people will want to land on a platform and then be able to continue that style of research and that discovery, and just a series of products related because they're all trousers is probably not what the future holds for us. So um, the the shift in research, I think, will make its way to e-commerce platforms. And then again, sorry, Charlotte, I'm really just parroting what you said at the start here. But one of the things that we are seeing is that people aren't searching for a red dress or black trousers as much as they used to. It's intent-led search. So I want to go do this. I want to go to X event, Y holiday destination. I'm off to the races. What should I be wearing? We can see that people are doing that in social media, and they've been doing that for a little while. But the e-commerce platforms that stay with, actually, I'm just here to um, support a product-specific search, will probably lose out here, because people will expect to be able to have a slightly more conversation-led search journey with them. So one of the things that we're really focused on at the moment is improving our contextual product information. Won't surprise you, we launch 500 products a week on our website, and we're pretty good at pulling together all of that perfunctory product information. What is it? What's the material? Some of the design cues, features, etc. But one of the things we're looking to improve at the moment is what is the contextual product information around it? Where would you wear it, but also what would you wear it with? So this is an oversized t-shirt, and therefore if we serve you some skinny jeans, that is a particularly problematic fashion faux pas. And so having the information around how people wear these, what go together, and where you might wear them is I think where a lot of companies will spend their time improving their product information and their search journey in the future.
Yeah, I think that's a key bit to unlock the new opportunities and new experiences. And I think with a lot of talk around agentic commerce and things, like actually the key right now seems to be, investing in the foundations that enable this. There's technology and things like headless, obviously been around for a little while now, like making sure that platforms and tools can talk to each other. I think the one of the areas we're seeing that relate very much to what you're saying there is also moving from data driven ways of personalizing, which still obviously has a place, but thinking about how you can then start to use prompting actually as a way of delivering personalized experiences. So in the same way you might go to, your store staff and say we want the shop window to look autumnal because autumn's coming and we want these colors and things, like being able to talk to your website as a merchandiser to reflect that, or indeed like interpret trends automatically, but actually prompting in sort of human English language as a way of providing that experience, I think is something that unlocks, which is potentially quite exciting, particularly around conversational commerce use cases and things like that we're seeing as well. um what Final question, I guess, is, what impact and how long do you think some of these AI tools and things are going to take to have on really moving the needle? So, I guess there's a question I'm asking everyone at the moment, because there's a lot you're reading about agentic commerce. Like, will customers truly say, I just want to, how much is shopping a fun experience and actually something people want to do as entertainment, or as, something that's just generally human, versus I just want an agent to take all of that off of my plate because I can do other stuff and stuff just turns up in my house, sort of thing. I don't know what the answer is. I'm just curious what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, well, no surprise. We've spent quite a lot of time discussing that internally. We Every single conversation we have with any agency or conference, it is all about agentic shopping. Now, I think personally as well, I'm deeply skeptical about the adoption rate of agentic shopping. So we talk, me and my boss talk quite a lot about adopted behaviors. And what you will see and what we are seeing is that agentic search is absolutely taking off, and that we need to be ready to be able to make sure that all of the effort we put into ranking on Google goes into ranking on ChatGPT, etc. So GEO is a huge topic for us, and we believe that if we don't have our sort of ducks in a row pretty quickly, we'll be left behind there as the adoption of that grows. But that's because it's, as we call, like an adopted behavior. People are used to searching, being served search results, and then going and shopping. What I think will take much longer to be an adopted behavior is that, to your point, I'm just going to sit there and say, I need some clothes for a party at the weekend. It's the Christmas do. I'm off to the races. I'm going into London. Send me some clothes. You know all about my personal style. Um, I really think that that is a long way off, and we are slightly skeptical when people turn up at our offices and say, you must have agentic shopping immediately. But I also believe there is joy, or people find value in the shopping experience. And there's a reason people go into stores just for a mooch around, have a little browse, see what they find. I'm sure a behavioral scientist would tell you there's something deeply innate in us of the joy of finding something that they like, specifically at a sort of price point that gives them some sort of chemical hit in their brain. So I really don't believe we're anywhere near agentic shopping taking off. I likened it with my boss the other day to like early adoption of Bitcoin. So there were a super niche, forward-thinking adopters of Bitcoin, right? And we both laughed at them. We both wish we had been those people, because I wouldn't be talking to you today. I'd be on an island somewhere. But again, at that time, you would have had a lot of people tell you that Bitcoin is the future, and everybody will be using it, and we must be 15, 20 years down the line now. And it certainly hasn't manifested that way. And I think agentic shopping will take a similar route. There will be a small percentage of people that really, really enjoy the thrill of this AI engine doing all of that for you and stuff just turning up at your door. But I don't believe it's going to be sort of success defining for any clothing business.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think the agentic piece where it can remove the friction and the boring bits of shopping, be it, sizing, availability, delivery, returns, all those sorts of things, makes total sense. But that hopefully then paves way for more time and emphasis and investment to go on to the experience itself. How can you differentiate? How does the brand site become the absolute, heart of the story of the brand digitally, that then is going to encourage people to come back to and be a part of, and things? Because people, that is an innate human behavior that has been for many generations, so it's not going to go away anytime soon. So yeah, it's interesting. We might be sitting here in a year's time and have be totally wrong, and
Yeah.
but who knows? I think that's the other challenge, isn't it? There's so much noise out there at the moment from all corners of our industry that it's hard to sort of separate signals to noise. I think that use of AI right now to solve known problems, like the shop the little one's a good example, because it's a known opportunity, but AI can automate the way you actually solve it in much the same way you might have been automating call centers, for instance, or improving call handling and returns and things like that. So definitely feels like there's a lot of lower hanging fruit than going all in on something agentic commerce, but so far. But it's still about foundationals at this stage, isn't it? No one knows.
Yeah, I mean, some people, you go to conferences, they would have you believe that this is the onset of the death of the website, and that because these agents will be doing your shopping for you, people just won't be on your platform. Look, if it had a crystal ball, that would be great. But I don't believe that that's the future for us. What I do believe is that research will be happening in different ways. So
Yeah.
asking an AI engine, what should I be wearing? Serve me some recommendations, and therefore the value of us making sure that we rank well within those engines is where sort of certainly the immediate future lies, and then who knows.
Great stuff. Well, on that note, Zach, thank you very much for your time today. Really interesting insights and feedback, and it's been great getting on the journey together with Primark, and looking forward to what 2026 brings. And that, I think, pretty much concludes our webinar today. We will continue doing more. We want to focus on doing sessions like this where we can get clients or experts to kind of offer up opinion and advice, I think is really interesting. No one quite knows what the future looks like at the moment, so the best thing we can all do as an industry is kind of like share learnings and ideas and work collaboratively where possible. Obviously, lots of competition out there, but thank you, Zach, for today. Thank you, Charlotte, for preparing. Thank you, lastly, to everyone who attended. Really appreciate you taking the time. Hopefully, it was useful.